Hilda Solis, the Secretary of... And even when we would sit with him and watch television, I could remember times when President Kennedy was shot as a child, and coming home from school. We were let out of school early. think I was was in elementary school. I was very young and not fully understanding what was taking place. And it was a tragic day. I remember our teachers were crying. I went home and my mother was sitting in front of the television, and it wasn't even halfway during the day, and she was crying, sobbing, and I thought, Mom, what's the matter? And she said, that man was just killed, our president, who was going to be our leader, someone who was fighting for us. So I learned very early from them, from both of them, how important it was to have a good representation in government and public service and what that meant. And if you had good people elected, they would take care of other people that weren't as fortunate, because they would understand and provide help and assistance. I think really for my father. I mean, from his sharing with us about injustices that occurred, his hardship in life, leaving a country to come in, as a young man coming into the United States and having to find your way, and how hard it was. And all the factors and barriers at that time. It was a very tough time. I think people were coming out of the Depression, and it was in the 40s, 50s, and it was still pretty hard for people of different backgrounds, especially if you were Mexican American. There was a lot of discrimination at that time. And he always talked about making sure that that we not somehow buy into that notion that we're less than who we are, or that we should think less of ourselves, that it's important to work hard, that's a good ethic to have, and to make sure that you could get the best education, whether in his mind getting a high school education was a triumph, because that's something that you couldn't get in his country, and something that is provided to you freely here in this country by Constitution. So he always talked about... She worked hard to make sure that the Department of Labor held true to protecting and helping workers, and helping those individuals that we're charged with either seeking employment, protecting them on the job, giving them all the rights and privileges that my jurisdiction has responsibility for, and more, and being creative and innovative, and doing and testing new things that lift people up and give them the ability to empower themselves. Because it isn't about me hand-holding anyone. It's take them to the water, and hopefully they'll drink. And they'll be able to do the rest on their own. And that's what I see my role as. And it's been very enlightening and a wonderful experience to be able to be a part of this administration.